Welcome to Restore workout number 6. We are going to start down on the ground. I want you to start with a couple reconnect breaths. I'm going to demo the warm up. So, starting on our backs, we're going to inhale, remember, into our ribs, softening our bellies. And then exhale, you can draw that belly and pelvic floor up to your heart. I want you to complete 5 of those before we move into the more dynamic exercises. So, once you're done your 5 reconnect breaths, you're going to move into glute bridges. Same position. We're going to inhale into the rib cage. Exhale, drive your hips straight up by squeezing those glutes. Inhale as you lower. So really important, watch you're not tucking your tailbone or arching your back. We're driving the hips up using our exhale and inhale lower. Then you're going to do 10 of those exercises. Then we're going to grab our mini band. If you have that, you'll place that around your knees. You can go just above or just below, and we're going to do our monster walks. So I want you to send your butt back, drop into a little bit of a mini squat, and we're going to side step. Now, if you have space to do 10 one way and 10 the other way, great. If not, you're just going to kind of do 1 or 2 depending on your space, and then move back and alternate so that you get a total of 10. You should be feeling those glutes. If you're not, if you're feeling lots in the thighs, I want you to think about sending your bum back more and having your chest sort of tip forward instead of being upright. You might feel more in your quads, so let's get those glutes going. Once you're done 10 of those, we're going to take the band off, and either using a broomstick or a band, we're going to work on our shoulder mobility for some rainbows. So you're going to do 10 rainbows. Start with your ribs right over your hips. Remember our domes. We don't want to be arching. You're going to go around as far as you feel like you can, keeping that good alignment. All right. Usually wider will make it easier than if you start too narrow. If you start too narrow, you might not feel like you can go very far. And I want to make sure that you don't arch your back just to get that range. So you'll complete 10 of those, twice through all 3 of those exercises, and then we'll get into our strength set. All right, for the strength portion of the workout, I'm going to show you 3 exercises. I want you to work between 6 to 8 reps. Now, this means that you need to start to work at a weight that feels challenging by that 6 to 8 reps. And of course, always monitoring for any pain, pressure, or peeing symptoms in the pelvic floor. So first exercise is our Romanian deadlifts. I want you to stand with 2 feet hip width apart. We're focusing on that hip hinge. Imagine you're closing that car door with your hands full of groceries or baby car seats. So you're going to slide those weights down to your knees and then squeeze the glutes to pull up. For our breath, we like that inhale as we lower, exhale as you come up. Or if you're using a heavier weight, you might feel like you need to inhale, then blow and go through that full range of motion. So see what feels best for you depending on the weight that you're doing. Once you're done that, we're going to move into our bent over row. So I'm going to demo on a bench. If you have something to kneel on, okay, we're going to exhale as we pull and squeeze the shoulder blade. Okay, if you don't have something to bend forward on, remember you can go into a split stance, rest your hand on your thigh, and row that weight up, squeezing that shoulder blade, pulling from your upper back, not just your arm. Once you're done 6 to 8 of those, we are going to do a half kneel wood chop. So half kneeling position, we are really focusing on our core stability first. One leg in front, 90 degrees, knee, hip, ribs, shoulder, ear, all stacked in a straight line. The goal of this exercise, you can use a dumbbell for, we're moving on a diagonal, but without twisting through the pelvis. So you're gonna hold that weight up across above your head and then bring it down to your hip without twisting and opening up the hips. All right, so again, you're gonna start up, bring it down, and then raise it back up. So you can inhale and exhale through that full range, or if there's a part that feels harder, use your exhale through the harder part. If that's the lower or if that's the lift, see what feels best for you. Once you're done your 4 sets, pause the video. When you're done your 4 sets, come back and we'll get started on the next set. All right, our next set, we're going to complete 3 sets. 8 repetitions of each of the exercises is your goal to complete. The first is our hip thrust. So I'm going to demonstrate on a bench. Remember, you can always use a chair or a couch or an ottoman that feels nice and stable. And if you don't have anything that you feel comfortable on, the floor and doing a glute bridge modification is always acceptable. So you're going to come onto your bench, lower yourself until just about your bra strap, just below the shoulder blades, is on the edge of the bench or whatever it is that you're leaning on. When we start this hip thrust, we want our feet hip width apart, and we want to start with our domes aligned. So I don't want you to arch and let your hips hang down too much, okay? You're going to inhale and you're going to exhale just like a bridge. Lift those hips, drive those hips up. Inhale as you lower. Notice my head is moving with my body. I'm not letting it whip around. I sometimes think like there is an apple or ball tucked under my chin. Exhaling as I lift. And then if I want to make this harder, I'm going to place a dumbbell or maybe even a barbell if you have that across your hips. So same thing, I'm driving from my hips. I'm not pelvic tilting. So I want you to be really aware of your dome alignment. Inhale, exhale, come up to neutral. Inhale as you lower back down. Once you're done those, we're going to work on kneeling push-ups. So for this one, we have between 5 and 8. 8 is the goal, but depending on how you feel with your push-ups, do as many as you feel like you can. In a kneeling position, we're going to start by tucking into a nice straight plank alignment. So I don't want your bum up. And ideally, we don't want to start on hands and knees. I want you to rock forward so you're in a plank position. Hands are about shoulder width apart. You're going to inhale as you go down and exhale, press up. Again, for pelvic floor, inhale wide into that bra strap as you lower to manage any pressure. And then exhale, you can think of lifting the pelvic floor or the belly up when you're exerting yourself to push back up. So again, 3 rounds of 8 of those 2 exercises. Pause, come back, and we'll do the last set together. All right, our last 2 exercises for strength. We're going to do bicep curls. You're going to aim for 8 repetitions of this one. So with the bicep curls, we're going to hold our weights. We're going to turn our palms forward. Keep those elbows in by your side and roll those shoulders back. I like to stand with those knees soft, okay, so that usually avoids us arching our back to start. You're going to exhale, bending the elbows, and inhale as you lower. You want to avoid swinging, all right? If you're having any elbow pain or wrist pain, you can always switch to starting with your palms facing in and then try twisting up just to see if that feels better. Again, 8 repetitions of bicep curls. Then you're going to come over to an elevated surface for an elevated plank. So hands on a bench, chair, couch, ottoman, whatever you have at home. And we're going to work on our alignment and holding a plank. You can do this on your hands or on your elbows, whichever feels best. I want you to inhale into your ribs and exhale, draw that belly up. So the key is inhale wide so we're not putting too much pressure into the belly. Exhale, think of your hollow belly. You should feel lots working with the core, and that should help keep your alignment in that elevated surface. If you feel like you cannot hold that for 30 seconds, try to find something a little bit higher. On the flip side, if you feel like 30 seconds wasn't that challenging, you could always go down to the floor or a lower elevated surface. When you're done that, come back and we're going to do our cool down together. All right, for our cool down, now that you've completed all your strength exercises, we're going to review our hypopressives. This one I'm going to demo is the one lying on your back, but remember, if there's one that you really like, you can always change it and do a different position. So we're going to lay on our back. You're going to place your hands on your pelvis so that you can find what I call neutral. So that'll help avoid pelvic tilts. Okay. Once you feel like you're there, make sure your toes are flexed, palms are up to the ceiling. And we're going to take 3 breaths where we inhale into the rib cage, let your belly soften and relax. Then exhale, you want to think about growing. So remember, that's like a string pulling you straight to the wall behind you. Once you're done your 3 breaths, you're going to exhale on that last one. Hold your breath, close nose, mouth, and throat. Draw your ribs open for your apnea. Then you'll inhale and exhale. And of course, you can repeat that a couple times if you'd like. And then we have a wall stretch. So I'm going to demo using the bench. If you have the wall near you, I'd like you to use your wall. For the cross-legged wall stretch, just to review, what you're going to do is aim to cross your knees together So you'll allow your knees and feet to bend behind, but keep the knees together as opposed to having our knees apart. Now with this one, you're only going to go as far as you can, keeping that pelvis neutral. So I don't want you to let yourself get pulled and twisted. Once you're there, you're gonna just work on breathing into the belly. Let your belly soften and fill. You're gonna take some breaths into the side of the rib cage and into the back of the rib cage. And every inhale, I want you to like relax your pelvic floor. Okay. After you've done about a minute or two, then you can switch sides. Now, just to review with our wall stretches, remember, you might not feel much happening with your pelvic floor. Imagine that your sit bones are spreading apart, or your vagina is opening and blooming like a flower, or elevator doors are opening. Any of those cues while you're working on that inhale and relaxation should help your pelvic floor relax, even if you don't feel a stretch. Once you're done 1 to 2 minutes, you can finish your workout and we'll see you for the next one.